Hello. It's been a while. What I'd like to do today is get everybody caught up. Let's get on the same page here. Let's recap the past 5 years of my life. So, we left off in March 2019. I was single, living with my parents in Kitchener, working full-time at the burrito place called Holy Guacamole. I had my coins, I had my golf. Life was good, except for when I got my wisdoms out.
Get your fucking camera out of my face.
In June of 2019, I went on a road trip with my good buddy Owen. We did some Airbnb-ing, some camping. It was lovely. But when I got home and went back to work, I realized I wasn't quite happy. I definitely wanted things to change a little bit, so I looked into going to university. Basically, I hated the thought of almost everything I saw, except for one program that was called Environment and Urban Sustainability at the school then known as Ryerson, now known as TMU. So I applied and I was accepted. The rest of the summer was great. Spent a lot of time with friends, doing general scallywaggery, kept working. It was great until this happened. Basically, I was going west on University Avenue in Waterloo. Traffic was stopped and I was kind of pulling out to go into the left turn lane to turn left at the lights. A guy at a parking lot to the right was turning left out into traffic and didn't see me and just kind of drove right into me. Unfortunately, that was a total loss for the golf. It was written off completely by the insurance company, but since I wasn't at fault, I got all the money I paid for it back pretty much. It was really tragic, but in hindsight, it did happen at the exact perfect time because it was the Friday of Labor Day weekend. I was set to move to Toronto for school 2 days later, and I definitely didn't want to bring the golf with me, so I didn't know what the hell I was going to do with it. And then the universe just kind of made that happen. So I'm really sad. I really miss that car to this day, but it worked out perfectly. And then I moved here. Actually, to be more precise, I lived up there, one of those apartments on the corner. Me and my increasingly powerful hair and my one hat moved into that building behind me, into a 2-bedroom apartment that came fully equipped with a roommate. But more on the roommate later. Owen had already moved here. He was in his second year at his program at TMU, and our friend Haley, who's from our Kitchener friend group, moved at the same time as me to go to TMU for a different program. I made a few feeble attempts to expand my social network, which included trying to befriend political party leaders.
What's up, everybody? We're here at Ryerson. Ryerson students, make some noise, people.
But that didn't work too well, so I spent my time hanging out with Owen and Haley. But as the term progressed, I increasingly spent more and more time with this Haley character. Strange things started happening. I let her put makeup on me. I changed the way I dressed. I bought Docs. By February, my hair had reached its maximum power, and I accepted that I had fallen completely in love with Haley. I knew this was true when I felt powerless to fight the urge to ram her while she was using a porta potty.
One more time, it's in contact.
But we're gonna have to put my love life on pause because we have to return to the roommate situation, which I promised to talk about. So I had signed an 8-month lease starting in September, which would have been up in April. I didn't really hang out much with my roommate. He always struck me as a little bit odd, but his behavior got a lot more odd in February of 2020. He got into the habit of leaving the apartment at midnight and coming back at 5 a.m., courteously slamming the door behind him to let me know that he had come home. He started screaming in his room. I remember coming home and the thermostat would be set to 89 degrees. I once got home and he had left a space heater right up against our wooden bathroom door on full blast. That was super cool. And then the candles started. So many candles, so much wax, such a mess. This happened more than once. The peak of this era was the last week of February.
My roommate got home at 5 a.m. and banged on the door to wake me up because he claimed he didn't bring a key, even though you need a key to lock the door to leave. So it means he lost his key.
I went back to sleep for an hour after sending that video to the group chat with all my friends, and then I woke up and took this.
Is what he did since then. So this is all out here, this was not here. And doors open, CDs on the stove. And okay, that was 2/3 full. Okay.
That gin bottle was mine. No, he didn't ask if he could have any of it. And what you saw on the floor there was ground beef, which I got to clean up. That was awesome. But yeah, this whole episode was like pretty wild and definitely a little bit scary. But thankfully things didn't really get any worse after this. For the remainder of my time there, I just remember seeing him less and less. I have no clue what caused this episode. I don't know if it was substances. I never heard from him again after I moved out, so don't know. Yeah, we are not in touch. Anywho, in the midst of all this, I decided to confess my love for Haley, and I did so right about here. Let me show you. Right around somewhere here. It's crazy how little grass there is. There did used to be some grass. This is just a dirt patch now. So romantic. But yeah, I was now in a relationship for the first time. The first few weeks were amazing. But if you're keeping track of the timeline, you know we've now entered early March of 2020. And if you happen to be alive then, you know what's coming next. Everything shut down. I moved back to Kitchener with my parents. We lived the lockdown lifestyle. Everybody thought it was kind of cool at the start, but then we quickly realized it definitely sucks to not see your friends, your loved ones, to leave the house. But that's not what this video is about, so let's keep moving. As summer of 2020 rolled around, the first pandemic restrictions in Canada kind of lifted, and I was seeking work, but I wasn't quite yet ready to go back to slinging burritos. But thankfully, our neighbor called me and Owen up and said, hey, I want to do some work in my backyard. I need some nice, strong young men to do some labor for me. And we obliged. This set off our careers in landscaping. Owen bought himself a nice little truck, and for the rest of that summer, we did landscaping for people. It was awesome. Later that year, I also worked with Ethan to clear out this backyard. We filled so many dumpsters with junk. It was so much fun. In 2020, I also started working with Sons of Shanley, which is the musical project started by my dear friend Jacob, whom I met when I started working at Holy Guacamole way back in 2016. I contributed a few bits and bobs to the 2020 EP Sons, and in the summer we shot a music video together for a song called Better Off. That was super fun. Haley and I were lucky enough to be able to go out on a little road trip that summer. As the summer came to a close, Haley actually moved into my parents' house with me. School started back up again, all remote, of course. Landscaping came to an end, so I then decided to go back to Holy Guacamole, and we spent the rest of the fall and winter just doing the pandemic-y things. We bleached Haley's hair, I bought tools, built desks, built a bed frame, did some coins. The year started off with continuous pandemic restrictions, which led to aggressive night eating and Haley cutting off my hair. This was the end of the long hair era. By the spring, the aggressive night eating had ceased. Jacob and I had completed an EP called Perennials. We did it by just sending the files back and forth to each other throughout the winter, and it was the first musical project I was kind of able to sink my teeth into. We had another really good year of landscaping. We started focusing on sod removal. Basically, we kind of took the top layer of soil out of people's lawns with the lawn bit attached. This meant we got to do a lot of dump runs, so we rented trailers. I got to drive a tractor once, and Haley even joined me on the job. It's so fucking cold today. I keep on having to go for brief jogs to keep warm. Oh my god. Towards the end of the summer, I played my first gig with Jacob. It was our first Sons of Shanley gig together. This was a truly terrifying experience. I did not look up from my guitar once. It really opened the doors for us for performing together. That's our show, everybody. And then in September, our schooling was set to return to full-on in-person classes, so Haley and I moved back to Toronto into this apartment. This is my house. Oh, hey!
Oh, hey. This is our house.
Oh, right. It's pretty affordable, it's really cute, and it's got a nice deck out back, so we quite like it here. Once we moved in, we spent some time gathering some furniture items we liked. I got a job at a brewery bar, and Haley got a job at another bar just down the street. Things were good, but there was just one thing that was missing. Where's the one thing? Where's my little one thing? It was clear from the start and a definite agreement that we were going to get a cat. I was insistent, however, that we wait a few months until we were like fully settled into this new life. Haley had other thoughts. She waited all of 2.5 weeks before going to the Humane Society and putting Lucia right on hold. She came home with us that next day. She has provided the spite and rage our house has been missing. We love her very much. Jacob and his now fiance, Sarah, now is in 2024 now, they moved to Toronto as well around the same time as us. Coming off of our incredible, memorable performance in August in Waterloo, Jacob and I knew we had to bring Sons of Shanley to the people of Toronto. So, in late 2021, we embarked on an open mic tour, the likes of which have never been seen before. We did 3 or 4. I don't know. The first of which was at a place called Supermarket, and it was fucking terrifying. It had the lights, the sound. We showed up with our 2 acoustic guitars that didn't plug into anything. I played lead guitar into a microphone. The rest of the open mics were pretty chill. I personally got more comfortable playing in front of people. By the way, check out how, look at all those, like the bear bark. All the beavers in here have been absolutely going hog wild, and they're just destroying the place. Haley and I went back to Kitchener for Christmas, which was our first time traveling with Lucia. On Christmas morning, I got a very special gift. I opened my phone and an email read that a COVID test I had done a few days prior was positive. We isolated with my family into the new year. This, I would say, was the year where I officially became a complete collaborator in Sons of Shanley. Jacob and I kind of merged as one. We spent our spare time in Jacob's basement apartment chipping away on some singles that we would release throughout the year. We shot a music video for one of them. The song's called Italy. It was a super fun time. Kind of booted around the city on a cold day. Very much like today, actually. Me, Jacob, and Haley out on the town. I also got this bicycle. I love it so much. This one has a little thing called gears. It's so much faster than my old one. We started playing real bar city shows. Our first one was in April. We played a whole bunch throughout that summer and into the fall. This was also the first year that Haley and I could have a garden that yielded many fruits. I was getting through school. Then in July, a precarious situation arose at work. My coworker had gone downstairs to do some stocking, and the kitchen guy was on break or something. There was also only one table sat, and they were outside on the patio facing away from the bar. I went to run some boxes out back into the recycling, and a guy came in as I was going out and sat at one of the tables. I came back inside and saw him sitting kind of with his head down. I could tell he was not the average patron of the bar, so I asked if I can help him at all. He says he needs to call his sister. So I go to grab the bar's landline phone. As I'm walking back over, I have my head down, thinking in my head, this guy seems a little bit out of it, so I'm gonna have to explain to him how to use this. So I'm kind of rehearsing that in my head. I walk over to him with my head down, and then so yeah, this was super cool. He got me right in the nose. I kind of run out after him, as you see in the video, and one of the guys from the table comes with me, and we follow this guy down the street. He just kind of walks, but he's aware that we're following him, so he's going at a decent pace. After a little bit, the fire department kind of shows up to where we are, but they don't know who they're looking for. And I'm holding my face with paper towels, bleeding, and I don't really want to talk to the fire department and deal with this right now. I just want to go back to the bar, get cleaned up, and wait for the cops. The guy who went with me did take a photo of the guy. His name is Conrad, so thank you, Conrad, for being with me that night. Really appreciate you. So the cop showed up to the bar about an hour or so later, took our statements. I followed up a few days later. They hadn't identified the suspect or anything, and I have not been contacted since. I assumed that would be the case, really. Incident happened on a Friday night. What really blew my mind and upset me the most about the situation was that not a single one of our owners or our manager showed up until Sunday. He only showed up on Sunday because he always showed up on Sunday evenings. Not a single one of these people went out of their way. I just don't get how you would operate a business and you care about them so little that one of them gets completely assaulted at work and you don't show up. I quit very, very shortly thereafter. But as luck would have it, I had just done some landscaping work for my landlord the week of the incident. And I guess I'd kind of forgotten how much I enjoyed working outside, working by myself, for myself. So I went straight from quitting the job into setting up my landscaping gig here in the city. And it looks a little bit different now because it's just me on my bike. I've been keeping that up since then. All right, onwards. The Shanley family expanded. We welcomed Tony into our world. He plays bass for us now. We played our first gig with him in January, and we love him so very much. I was almost done school. I started working on some solo music stuff. Okay, I shit you not when I say this guy just dove. Oh my god. I was just walking down the trail, had my head down looking at the camera. I was deleting videos because my SD card's almost full. Holy shit. You got some. Did you get a little mouse? Dude. Where was I? Spring of 2023. I got Berks. We went on a trip to Portugal with my family. We had a good summer. We got to spend lots of time with family and friends. I kept busy working on Shanley stuff, working on my solo music, and then also doing landscaping, of course. What are you doing, little evil? What have you got? No. No, you can't come inside. No. I released my solo album in September. It's called The Attic. Going into the fall, landscaping died down, so we hungered down and got to work on the debut Shanley album. 2023 was definitely the year of albums. In late November, we received some bad news in terms of lore, both Jacob and mine. Holy Guacamole, our employer where we met back in 2016, they closed up shop. Rest in peace, Holy Guac. We're still pretty early here in 2024, but the Shanley album is set for release in just a few days' time. We're playing an album release show on March 1st. Tony made a video for the lead single off of the album called Banks. We're excited for this year. Some things haven't changed. This camera is still the same one I've had for 8 or 9 years at this point now. You joined me here today in a place called Tommy Thompson Park, which is in that proximity to Toronto's skyline. There's no cars allowed. It's just a super peaceful spot in the city. This video is kind of my attempt to revitalize my interest in video making. If it worked, I'll talk to you very soon. If not, I'll talk to you in another 5 years. Shut the hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, share it with a friend if you found this entertaining. Thanks. Bye.